I've been a lurker or commenter for a bit now, and I figure it's finally time to share my full story. My husband and I married in 2013 and had our son in December 2018. COVID hit shortly after our son turned 1 year old, and, like everyone, we struggled through it. My husband had suffered with depression ever since his mom died shortly after we got married, but never dealt with it. He also has ADHD. Our marriage began to suffer and we withdrew from each other. I was doing all the child care, housework, finances, everything, and he would mostly just spend time alone and away from us. He'd go out with his friends a lot and return home late at night or even early in the morning. Fast forward to May 2021, when my husband breaks down and tells me he thinks we should separate, because things weren't going well in our marriage. I agree with him, and we get a second home for him to live in while we try to figure out what we are doing. We were fully separated and not intimate for several months after he moved out. But, in September-November 2021 things started to improve with us and we had sex occasionally. On December 20, 2021, I found out my birth control had failed and I was 6 weeks pregnant. Neither of us was thrilled about it, but we decided to at least try to figure things out between us. He largely moved back into my home. On December 26th, I saw a text pop up on his phone from a friend/coworker of his, let's call her C. The text raised some red flags about the closeness of their relationship, so I asked him about it. He denied there was anything going on. I didn't buy it, so I kept snooping and saw that he had phone calls with C on Christmas Day and December 26th. I confronted him about that and he claimed the calls were about work. Again, I didn't buy it, because why are you having work calls on Christmas and the day after, a Sunday? I let things be for a few days to figure out how I was going to proceed. Our 8-year anniversary was December 31, 2021, so even though it was a tense day, I didn't want to raise the issue. So on January 1, 2022, I sent a text message to C. After getting her number out of my husband's phone. I had met her many times before because she was a coworker of my husband. I texted her to see if she would be willing to meet up with me the next day, and she said yes. About 20 minutes later, my husband came to find me and asked if I had texted C. I said yes. He had this pitiful look on his face, and I knew what was coming. He said, and I'll never forget these words, "Well, you might as well hear it from me then." He proceeded to confess that he and C had been having a physical and emotional affair for the past year. He said he loved her, and she loved him, but once he told C that I was pregnant, C ended things. These were the December 25th and December 26th calls. I was livid. We had a lengthy conversation and then I left the house, telling him that he needed to be gone before I got back. I went first to my friend's house to vent, then to a casino to pull out $1,000 from our joint account to gamble away, When I got home, he was gone, but he came back to the house to talk more that night. Turns out, he hadn't told me the full truth. It wasn't 1 year, it was 2 years. And he had lied/left out the full truth on several other things too, including trips they had taken together, and the fact that he had our son in the house several times when she was there. I told him that we would be getting divorced and he could leave and never come back. In the following days, I learned that, in addition to the affair, my husband had been severely abusing alcohol and also abusing his prescription ADHD medication. He began treatment and had friends fly in from out of town to stay with him to keep him clean. He expressed remorse, regret, guilt, and shame. He cut off contact with C and answered any question I had. But I contacted a divorce lawyer, got papers drafted, and was getting ready to serve him, when my world came crashing down. I found out on January 24, 2021 that our baby girl had a 95% chance of having trisomy 21, or Down syndrome. On top of everything I was going through, I was now looking at the possibility of being a single mother of a special needs daughter in addition to my 3-year-old son. To say I was devastated is an understatement. My husband was devastated as well. The tragedy pulled us together, in a way, and we leaned on each other like never before. My husband moved back in because I needed the emotional support as well as the physical support with caring for my son. We did additional tests for the baby, including an amniocentesis, which confirmed the Down syndrome diagnosis. We weren't sure what other issues the baby had, but the likelihood was high, given certain markers seen on the ultrasound. Ultimately, when I was 17 weeks pregnant, we lost our baby. It was horrible and awful, but also somewhat of a relief, because the very difficult life we were facing had been lifted. We saw a grief counselor together, continued in individual therapy, and committed to working on our marriage. It hasn't been easy. In fact, it's been the hardest thing in my life I've ever had to deal with. It's taken all my love, compassion, and strength to forgive my husband and truly love him. He has shown through words and actions that he is committed to changing himself and our relationship dynamic. He has fessed up to everything and taken full responsibility. He has stepped up at home and is working on his relationship with our son. I'm still not sure if our marriage will work out, and I never thought I would stay with someone who cheated on me, but until you're in the situation you really don't know how you'll react. At this point, I'll say that our relationship is on its way to being stronger than it's ever been. What we are building from the ashes of our past can be something amazing. I want anyone out there who is dealing with infidelity to know that if you both are truly willing to put in the hard work and make life-altering changes, there can be life and love after infidelity. I'm sure I may get some hate for saying that, and people may think I'm naive. You all may be right, but I'm not going down without a fight.